Imagine having to step away from work for a major life event. Maybe you're welcoming a new baby, caring for a sick parent, or dealing with your own sudden illness. Now, in the past, that usually meant making a really brutal choice between being there for your family and keeping your paycheck. But get this. Since its launch, Washington State's Employment Security Department has successfully paid out over $4.2 billion in paid leave benefits to more than 700,000 approved applicants. $4.2 billion. That staggering number proves one very important thing. This system absolutely works, and it is here to support you when life happens. Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. We are going to demystify the Washington Paid Family and Medical Leave Program. We're going to cover exactly what it is, how you can figure out if you qualify, and most importantly, we'll walk you through the exact roadmap for navigating the state's application process. The goal here is to get you the benefits you've earned, completely headache-free. So here is the quick chronological journey we'll be taking today. First, what is paid leave? Then, checking your eligibility, prepping your application, submitting it, seeing what happens after you apply, and finally, some crucial tips and a quick disclaimer. All right, Section 1, what is paid leave? So this program covers a really broad range of situations. You've got medical leave for your own serious health conditions and family care leave to take care of a loved one. And Washington defines family member incredibly expansively here. It's not just a spouse or a kid. We're talking siblings, grandparents, grandchildren, domestic partners, and even folks who stand in loco parentis, which basically means anyone who acted as a parent to you. It also covers bonding leave for a new child, whether that's by birth, adoption, or foster placement, military family leave for deployment events, and safe leave for recovery from domestic violence or assault. And here is where the massive financial relief comes in. Eligible employees can claim up to 12 weeks of paid leave. Now, if you have multiple qualifying events in the same claim year, say a complicated pregnancy that requires medical leave followed by bonding leave, you could actually get up to 18 weeks. The program offers partial income replacement of up to 90% of your weekly wage. To put that into perspective, the maximum weekly benefit for 2024 was over $1,400. That is a tangible, powerful benefit designed to keep you and your family economically stable. Moving right along to Section 2, checking your eligibility. Let's see if you actually qualify. Okay, this brings us to the absolute golden rule of Washington paid leave, the 820-hour requirement. You must have worked at least 820 hours in Washington during your qualifying period. Now, I know that sounds like complex math, but it really just averages out to about 16 hours a week over the course of a year. And the best part? These hours are cumulative. So if you worked, let's say, 500 hours at a coffee shop and 320 hours at a bookstore during that period, those combine to meet the threshold. It's a great setup because it ensures part-time workers and folks who recently switched jobs can still get covered. There are, however, a few exceptions we should touch on. Federal employees and employees of tribally owned businesses on tribal land are not automatically eligible. Also, if you're an independent contractor, a sole proprietor, or otherwise self-employed, you aren't automatically in the system, but you can voluntarily opt into the state program if you want access to these exact same benefits. I also really want to highlight a vital new update that's taking effect in 2026 regarding intermittent leave. Previously, to claim benefits for just a fraction of a week, you had to miss at least 8 consecutive hours of work. But starting in 2026, that threshold drops to just 4 consecutive hours. This is an incredible new flexibility. If you just need a half day off for, say, a weekly chemotherapy appointment or to care for a family member, you no longer have to exhaust a full day of your own PTO to qualify for state support. All right, Section 3, preparing your application. Let's get that paperwork sorted. Now, what's really interesting about this step is that having these specific documents ready beforehand is basically the secret to a fast approval. The state is incredibly specific about what they need. You can't just tell them you're taking leave, you have to prove it. So everyone needs proof of identity. A driver's license, a passport, or even a utility bill works great. If you're taking medical or family care leave, you absolutely need medical certification. This can be the official state form filled out by your healthcare provider, your federal FMLA form, or just a doctor's note that contains the exact same required info. Just have these scanned or photographed and ready on your computer. Okay, listen closely because I want to warn you about a really common pitfall. Before you hit submit, meticulously double-check your name, your date of birth, and your social security number. Incomplete or inaccurate applications will absolutely freeze your funding. A simple typo on your birth date can stop the entire administrative process in its tracks, so definitely take that extra 10 seconds to verify your details. Section 4. Submitting your application. Time to take action. So the online system at paidleavewa.gov is designed to be pretty user-friendly, but there are a few digital hoops you have to jump through. Step 1, you need to set up a Secure Access Washington, or SAW profile. This is basically the state's secure login gateway. Once you're in SAW, Step 2 is adding the paid family and medical leave service to your dashboard. Step 3, access the portal and click Create a Benefit Account. And finally, Step 4, you'll fill in your employment details, upload those documents we just talked about, and hit Submit. Right before you finish that application, you actually get to choose how you want to receive your money. You have two options here. You can select direct deposit, where the funds transfer straight into your bank account, or if you prefer, or maybe you just don't have a traditional bank account, you can select the U.S. Bank ReliaCard option. The state will physically mail you a prepaid debit card, and your weekly benefits will be loaded onto it automatically. Now, we do need to address a few edge cases. If you don't have a social security number or an ITIN, you won't be able to use the online portal. You'll need to use a paper application instead. But don't worry, these paper applications are highly accessible and available in 15 different languages. Just keep in mind that if you do apply on paper, your payments will automatically come on that prepaid debit card, and you absolutely must call in by phone to file your weekly claims. Let's move to Section 5 and see how this builds. What happens after you apply? This timeline maps out the waiting game. Day 1 is your submission, but then, for most claims, you enter a mandatory 7-day waiting period. This is basically an unpaid week at the start of your leave. After that waiting week clears, you enter the active phase where you must log in and file weekly claims to get your ongoing payments. It's a lot like unemployment. You have to continually verify your status week by week to keep those funds flowing. But here is a fantastic exception that you definitely need to know about. That unpaid 7-day waiting period, it is completely waived if your claim is for parental bonding, medical leave taken during the postnatal period after childbirth, or for military exigency. For these specific life events, you can start receiving your benefits immediately without sacrificing a week of pay. And finally, Section 6, final tips and a quick disclaimer. Okay, so getting paid by the state is one thing, but is your specific job actually protected while you're gone? Well, that depends. The state pays your benefit, but job protection has stricter legal rules. Your employer is only legally required to hold your exact job if the company has at least 50 employees, you've worked there for at least a year, and you've worked at least 1,250 hours in the previous year. If you don't meet those criteria, you'll still get the state money, for sure, but your specific role isn't legally guaranteed to be waiting for you. It's a really crucial distinction to keep in mind when you're planning your leave. Also, timing is everything here. You have up to 30 days after your qualifying event happens to submit your application, so don't wait too long. Head straight over to paidleave.wa.gov when you are ready to begin the process. As a quick disclaimer before we wrap up, while this explainer covers the comprehensive framework of the program, regulations like that awesome 2026 intermittent leave update we talked about can and do change. This is general information, so you should always consult the official state website or your own legal and HR advisors for personalized guidance tailored to your specific situation. We have covered a ton of ground today, from qualifying events to document prep and portal navigation, but it really all starts with one key metric. So I'll leave you with this question. Have you checked your 820 hours yet? Take control of your benefits, pull out those pay stubs, and calculate your hours today so that when life happens, you are totally ready. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and we will see you next time.